Alright, so I really think the choice between the Cloud 1 and the Cloud is if you want to take streets. That sounds like gang.
Welcome to Matt on Foil.
So today let me tell you what's in these bags. These are Tacoon's Cloud Parawings, and we have the regular Cloud, you've seen the review before, and the Cloud 1. And in this video I'm going to tell you what the differences are and which one you should actually pick. So let's pop these open and let's just, for you to remember, check what the regular Cloud looks like. So this is the Cloud from Tacoon. It's their second version Parawing. It's a 4 meter, and I'm not going to tell you all the good things about this Parawing, like for example the deep power. I mean, it doesn't collapse when you fly it off the front lines. What you need to take care, I'm not going to tell you, but just hold the bar a little bit more to the back so it gives you power. But it's a good thing, because if you want to tack, for example, then you can really hold it and depower to go around there. But as I've said, I'm not going to talk about this here. Now, this is the one that you've seen before. If you don't remember, check out my review. Somewhere up here, you'll find that. This is the regular Cloud. Pretty thin material. Looks nice. You have the front, which is blue lines. You have the back, which is orange lines. And in a exactly similar bag, you don't see a lot of difference. You get the Cloud 1. And let me just talk about these bags real quick. Those are not bags for to take on the water. Like here in the back, you have some holes so the water can get out. There are zippers. Here in front, you have just some material to fix the Parawing if ever you were to get holes in it. But if you take the Cloud 1 out, you immediately feel like this is thicker. It's 54 gram material, for those who care, but like the feel is thicker, and the bowl itself is also a little bit bigger. So if you want to stash it, that's going to be different because you need a little more space. Now this is a 4 meter, and I was able to stash it in my Elements pouch. It's the pouch I usually use. I had many different Parawings in there, and the limiting factor for me is not the thickness of the material, it is the length of the bar. It's the exact same bar as you have in the other Clouds. There again, hold it not too much to the front, hold it towards this middle line, which is also at the bar. It looks exactly the same. Now, when we make this Parawing fly, you immediately feel it's the same thing. It behaves the same way. Depower is great, but it feels a little more solid. It feels more stable, and I would argue this is a good thing, especially if you're a beginner. This feels more comfortable. Like, it's not as agile. It's not a super high aspect Parawing, so you can still steer it very well. But like the thicker material just makes it a little bit more stable, and I think that's a good thing. And not only that is a good thing, like the thicker material, I think helps with longevity. Like if you have it on the water and maybe you run over it with your board and your foil, or you stand on it, or it just gets munched in that stash pouch, the thicker material just copes with it a little better. Also, what I highly recommend when you start Parawinging, do your land drills. Like, see how it acts if you just take the brake lines and then take it up again. And every time it hits sand or here the grass, then it's just a little bit of impact on the material, and the thicker material is just gonna do better with it. Also, what I think it's super important, take your Parawing on a skateboard. Do turns on your skateboard. Try your first chives on a skateboard. Try depower on a skateboard. Try stashing or collapsing your Parawing on a skateboard as well. And just move around. I did my first tacks on a skateboard before, and I think I'm ready to take it to the water now. Like, skateboarding is super cool with Parawings, but your Parawing is gonna hit the street. That sounds kind of gangster. Anyway, it hits the concrete, and the problem is, with a thin material, you're never sure if it leaves a hole or not. And with the thicker Parawing, that's just not as much of an issue. So the thick material here is actually really good. Also, if you fly it, it really doesn't feel like there's a lot there. It's just, I mean, it's pulling you anyway. There, the weight is not an issue. And just for you who are into numbers, I went into the local supermarket, I put it on the scale, I weighed those two Parawings. If you want to know more about the exact weight of the bar, of like the Parawing itself, then check out my table that I have on uponfoil.com. You can find the whole table of all the Parawings I've used so far. I think are 27 or 28 right now. So there you find more info about the exact measurements of this Parawing. The thick material is also really not a problem for doing weird stuff. And today, for the first time, I did a handle pass with the Parawing, and I did it with this one, just to show that you don't need a high performance Parawing to go Parawinging. So the only disadvantage I see here is really the size when it's stashed. Like if you have a small stash belt and you have your Cloud 1, and then it's just not as easy to put it in. And it works, it just works. And the price, this one is even cheaper than the Cloud. So I think it's the one you should get, really. Now you might ask, yeah, but what about these light days, these light wind days? Yes, of course, there, the regular Cloud is gonna fly just a little bit better. But, you know, especially if it's new and it's got that water repellent on here, that works super well. And while we're speaking and while we're on the land, let me just show you the Cloud 1 in 3 meters, which has the same thickness of material. This one is red, which is great. Like you want colors that are seen from far away. I'm gonna give this Parawing to my kids and have them handle it on land. And you know, I wouldn't give my super thin material Parawings to my kids. But this one here, if they hit the ground, that's really no problem whatsoever. Now, if you have any questions about these Parawings, hit me up on Instagram at @MattOnTheFoil. Comment down in the video. You're definitely not making mistakes with Clouds and with Cloud 1s. If you're not sure if you should get the Cloud or the Cloud 1, just get the Cloud 1, really. I think it's the better option. Not just price-wise, but like the thick material is not a bad thing. It is a feature. It's a no-brainer. Price is extremely competitive. And yeah, that's a great Parawing. Another great Parawing. I don't know if they're bad Parawings still, because those things are just awesome. All right, that's been it. We need to take care of the rock here. See you guys in the next one. All right, YouTube thinks this video is going to be the one for you, so maybe check it out. And I have a playlist of all my reviews, mainly Parawings, also some foils, which are here. So click there.